So yet another study saying that you change your diet a little bit, get rid of meats, processed foods, things like that, go more veggie, you can extend your lifespan. By how much? Well, let's bring in Dr. Fahmi Farah. She's a cardiologist. Welcome back to the program, Dr. Farah. So in this latest study that I bring to the table, they said 13 years you could extend your life. Do you know how they calculate that, Dr. Farah? Seriously, what is it? What metrics do they use? What numbers do they use to calculate in a study of so many people and different sets? These people ate meat, these people didn't. How do they calculate and say 13 years? How do they come to that? Do you know?
Yes, so they looked at several factors. The study obviously focused on diet. So it was incredible, actually, as you said, 13 years overall life expectancy increase with dietary changes. So what they looked at were, of course, risk factors. Age is a major factor. The sooner you start the healthy diet at a younger age, the longer that you're going to get longevity for life you're going to get out of it. They also looked at what kind of diet, of course. So what they said is plant-based diet. The more plant-based diet you have, the better it is. So the push is really towards plant-based diet right now. And that's what the American Heart Association guidelines are suggesting that came out this year as well. And within the plant-based diet, there's some specifics. What they're talking about is whole grain. So there's a big push for whole grain and legumes and nuts. Those actually have played the biggest role in longevity, is what this study suggests. That's not to minimize vegetables and fruits, of course. You should continue to eat healthy vegetables and fruits. So that's kind of what they looked at, those three primary components: age factor, risk factors, and what kind of diet it is.
What happens inside the body when you shift gears? And that's a big change for people that are used to eating red meats and heavier type of stuff, all these potatoes and red meats, and then going more vegetable based. That's a big change. But if it happens, what takes place inside the body that starts transforming or changing that allows for longer life?
It's multiple things. I'm going to comment on the meat factor. Yes, this study promotes less red meat, and it actually says less processed meat. By just cutting back on processed meat, we increase our longevity. That's what the study
And when you say
suggested.
processed meat, you're talking about prepackaged, anything in a box or a can, right? That's what we're talking about.
That's right. Anything that has preservative in it, like the things like bacon, sandwich meat, anything at all that's not fresh. Canned items, so anything with preservatives. And then you mentioned, what does it do for the body? Several things. So when we're eating healthy, like plant-based food, it increases our antioxidant content in the body, so that helps. And then it reduces risk factors like hypertension, high cholesterol, because you're eating healthier, so you're not eating, your food content doesn't have very high amounts of saturated fat or cholesterol, and those are usually key ingredients in deteriorating our cardiovascular system and accelerating the aging process, so to speak. Thing with antioxidants, they help reduce the rate at which we age.
Dr. Fahmi Farah, cardiologist. In your years of practice, Dr. Farah, have you seen folks do a 180 successfully? Maybe kind of share with me some of the things you've seen. Some of these folks that, maybe it was a life event, maybe it was a heart attack, right? A scary event, a medical event that scared them straight.
Yeah.
Have you seen people do that successfully?
Absolutely. Yes, I've seen it many times, actually. You're right. People who have heart attacks, they'll give up things like smoking and just turn their lives around. They'll start exercising, eating heart healthy. Just these three or four things, like reducing alcohol consumption, can make a huge impact in our lifestyle and life expectancy. Same thing with the COVID. I actually had several patients who lost their sense of smell, and unfortunately they never quite got it back to where it was, and it took away their desire to eat meat in some of my patients, and so they became actually vegan.
Yeah.
And it made
Wow.
a huge impact in their cardiovascular system, because they're healthier now. They've lost significant amount of weight, and so they're living a much healthier life. So I've seen I've seen definitely positive things come out of adversity like heart attack and things like this. I will say one other thing that's very important that's from this study is I don't want people to be discouraged if they have not eaten healthy their whole life. This study proves that at any point you can turn it around. So to give you an example, the earlier you start, of course, the better it is. You can get that full 13 years. But even if you start eating healthy at age 60, for instance, the study showed that at 60, people who make their dietary changes, they can gain up to 8 years for females and 8.8 years for males. That's huge. That's when you're making a change at 60. And then they also commented on somebody, say, 80 years old, making the same change. They can still benefit from it. On average, they can gain up to 3.5 years of longevity just by making this dietary change and lifestyle change.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I don't know about that whole losing sense of smell thing that you mentioned earlier. And I can see how it works, because if you can't smell the steakhouse as you're walking towards it, you can't smell that sizzling steak that is, you're already mouth-watering. Yeah, I can see where the pleasure would be gone. But for me, I don't know, that's just one of those pleasures of life that, like, why makes worth living. I mean, it makes life worth living. Like smelling fresh bread, fresh sweet bread, or just a loaf of bread out of the oven, or
Absolutely.
a fresh pizza, right? Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd want to suffer like that.
It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate for people who have lost their sense of smell and have not been able to get it back. It's very unfortunate. But some people, they're trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, I can see where that disconnect, though, that leads them to, well, it helps them to change their life as well. Anything else, Dr. Farah, before I let you go?
I just encourage everybody to make that healthy lifestyle change, and that it's never too late. At any time, you can turn it around.
Thank you, Dr. Farah. We'll speak with you soon. Cardiologist, Dr. Fahmi Farah.